Hello, my name is Austin, and this is Go Access, a YouTube channel dedicated to access in higher education and disability rights. Today, I'm going to be covering Apple and the Worldwide Developers Conference that will be taking place on June 3rd. One of the interesting features Apple is working on is bringing iOS apps to the Mac OS. They're calling this Marzipan, that's the code name, and they want to basically allow developers to write apps for either Mac OS and iOS and have it work seamlessly for either operating system. What's interesting is that one of the iOS features right now that's not in Mac OS is dynamic type. Dynamic type allows you to increase the font size for the entire iOS system. So anywhere you go on the iOS screen, the font size is increased. And it's expected that you'll see something like that coming to Mac OS in the future. Probably dynamic type will make it to Mac OS. There's also talk of the magnifier in iOS coming to Mac OS. So those are some of the accessibility features. And I think in general, people are thinking that as time goes on, we're going to see more accessibility features probably migrating from iOS to macOS or from macOS to iOS and kind of seeing that cross-platform accessibility in the next couple of years. So I just think it's interesting space to watch. The next thing I wanted to kind of mention since we were talking about font and I was thinking about that is Open Dyslexic. Open Dyslexic is actually the font that I use in all of my slides, and it is a font designed for people with dyslexia. And the font has a heavier bottom type, so that helps people with dyslexia track the text better and not jump line to line. You can use it in programs like Microsoft Word and other processing applications. I don't think yet they have customizability with fonts to really change the actual system font to Open Dyslexic for either like iOS or Mac OS or Windows. I think that if you do that, it's a much more complicated process and it's not something that is very accessible for the average user. I think as the font becomes more popular, hopefully they will be able to incorporate it into other operating systems. And I did want to include the link for it for you guys to check it out and maybe download it. So let's go to the next slide. I wanted to mention Microsoft Singing AI. This is an interesting app because it helps people who are blind interact with the world. The app has really cool elements of being able to, for example, use OCR, optical character recognition, to read like a menu for someone. It has a lot of potential and it can even describe pictures. It has a lot of potential and they're constantly tuning the AI and using the cloud to really have it learn new features and things like that. And I'm going to actually play a little demo now of the app and some of the cool features that it is able to do.
I want to mention that Open Dyslexic free font that has a heavier bottom to help people with dyslexia track the lines of text. You can use it in programs like Microsoft Word and other word processing applications. I think as fonts like Open Dyslexic become more popular, there will be more emphasis on making it easy to customize operating system fonts. Link in description for download. One face. A man standing in front of a mountain. Yesterday, 10:36 a.m. A person standing next to a body of water. Yesterday, 11:25 a.m. 10 US dollars. A tree with a mountain in the background. A view of a dry grass field. Lafayette, CA. Yesterday, 11:24 a.m.
Mandatory disability training. So one other interesting article I Mandatory disability training. So one other interesting article I saw was the University of Minnesota's Senate committee passed mandatory disability training for their University of Minnesota. This means that the disability office is going to educate the faculty on how to talk to students regarding accommodations and help the faculty kind of learn more about the programs the Disability Office at the University of Minnesota is providing. And I think it's really important because there should be more mandatory trainings for faculty on working with students with disabilities. And hopefully, this training will help faculty feel more comfortable interacting with students with disabilities and provide them with the tools to help students with disabilities feel supported and understood regarding their accommodations and making that talk a little bit smoother. I think in the future for next week I might do a video about how to have that talk with a student regarding accommodations. Anyway, I really appreciate you guys tuning in. I hope you like, comment, and subscribe and have a happy weekend.